In the classic Seinfeld episode, The Label Maker, Jerry gives away Super Bowl tickets as a gift, only to receive a re-gifted label maker in return. And when Jerry learns that his schedule has suddenly changed and he is now able to go to the Super Bowl, he then tries to de-gift the tickets and take them back. It's hilarious, it's awkward, and it is surprisingly relevant to today's topic, gifting and legacy planning. Whether it's a pair of tickets or a family trust, how and why we give matters. Welcome to Guard Your Savings podcast. I'm here with our host, owner and founder of Clear Income Strategies Group, Dolph Janis. He's also an insurance professional and a Seinfeld enthusiast. How are you today, Dolph?
I am wonderful, young lady. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Nice
Thank
to have
you so much. I'm happy to be here. It's exciting. Our first recording together. I'm looking forward to it. I did my research and got a Seinfeld reference just to start us off on a good foot.
I appreciate that. And if you would have put that Friends stuff up there, I would have had no idea what you're talking about.
Fair enough. I'm going to get you watching the show eventually.
Good luck with that.
Well, if anyone is interested in learning about Dolph and Clear Income Strategies Group as a whole, you can go to guardyoursavings.com or, of course, reach out by the good old-fashioned phone at 704-919-0149. Dolph, you're located in Charlotte, and you have a phrase that you live by, can't live tomorrow until you live today, which I love. So my question for you is, are you living well today?
Every day I wake up, look at the beautiful sky, whether it's rainy, blue, or gray, I am living a great life.
It's a blessing, isn't it?
Yep.
We get to wake up and do it again. So we're going to jump right into today's topic, gift giving and legacy. When people think about legacy, they often picture wills and trusts. But what are some overlooked ways that people can leave a meaningful financial legacy?
There's a lot of different ways of looking at it. And I like your reference to the label maker, because I always think back to the Kenny Bania episode, which you probably never saw, where he had an Amani suit. And he gave the Amani suit to Jerry in exchange for a free meal. And the first time they went to the meal, they got soup, and that was no good. He said, I want a real meal. Soup's not a meal. So Jerry and Bania never got along. So it's like the label maker and that one kind of go side by side, which leads into another Seinfeld episode where Jerry gifted his father a Cadillac in Florida, and it caused all kinds of issues. So when you're trying to leave a meaningful financial legacy, you got to break it down into multiple avenues. First of all, it's like, first, it's not going to affect you and your lifestyle going forward, because and I've been doing this for over 20 plus years. And one of the things with clients is, hey, look, you don't want to be dependent on somebody else. You want to live your life the way you want to live it, because the worst thing is to do is not the worst thing. There's plenty of worse things out there, is having to depend on somebody else for anything. I mean, they've done studies and researches that over 60% of millennials and younger people financial plan for retirement is their parents leaving them money. And that's not the way to plan your future. But when you're looking at a legacy planning, it's like you work your tail off for your whole life, and you have kids or grandkids, and you want to leave them something. There's a lot of different avenues of leaving them. There's gifting them the money. There's term life insurance. There's whole life insurance. There's just making them the beneficiary on a lot of different ways. But when you're doing that financial plan, don't hurt yourself at the same time trying to leave your kids so much money, because my parents, I'm still lucky they're both still alive, and I want them to enjoy all their money. I mean, whatever I get from them, it's just side money. It will go back to my daughter anyway. So I want them to enjoy their life. If they want to have dinner, they want to go to a movie, they want to go on vacation, spend your money, but do it accordingly, and make sure that your beneficiaries, this is the most important thing, is your beneficiaries are updated yearly. I mean, because you have to change the beneficiaries from time to time. People get married, their last name changes. And I can tell you horror stories of people that changed their name and never had documentation of it, and they didn't receive the money for quite some time because of it.
Oh my goodness. Small things that you don't think about, but it's so easy to overlook. And like you said, it's your parents' money that they've worked hard for. So there's no obligation for them to give it. It's theirs first to spend how they wish. Like you said, go on a trip, go out to dinner. If they choose to leave something, that it's a choice, not an obligation. 100%
agree. It's like, there's no better feeling than talking to your family on the phone, visiting with them, and say, hey, don't worry, order that extra cappuccino for dessert. Order that dessert. I mean, you have the money, spend it, but spend it wisely. But you have to make sure you have enough money to last you for your legacy first. Because if you don't take care of your legacy first, you're not going to help anybody else's legacy later.
It goes back to your motto of you have to live today. If we can't live today, we can't possibly live tomorrow either.
Right, 100%. It's like the old Dalai Lama. My daughter gave me this thing. It's like the 2 days of the year you can't change is you can't change yesterday and you can't change tomorrow. But you can learn from yesterday to prepare for tomorrow.
That's fantastic. I really like that. So let's say someone wants to give something more personal than money, like a family business or a piece of property. What sort of things do they need to consider to make sure that it's a blessing and not a burden on the recipient?
That's a great question. And I'm not a CPA. We have a CPA in our office, Raggy, that we refer these questions to because there's a thing out there from the IRS. It's called taxes. We all love paying taxes. We don't mind paying taxes. Taxes are going up. It doesn't bother us at all. Well, that's a bunch of you know what. Nobody likes paying taxes, and especially getting double taxed like on Social Security, which is hopefully changing soon. But when you're looking about a business or property or anything else out there, don't just sign the piece of paper in the house over to the kids or something like that, thinking you're doing the right thing. You got to have legal counsel, sometimes an attorney get involved. There's a thing called a trust, which I think is one of the greatest pieces of paper anybody could do when they want to worry about transferring legacy. I mean, whether it's revocable or irrevocable trust, having the power of attorney and the trust in place is ginormous when it comes to passing on your legacy the right way and not putting a burden on them. Because you don't want to give somebody something where eventually, boom, the next year happens and they're going to owe a ton of money in taxes because of it wasn't done the proper way.
Right.
For instance, I'm going to pick on some pro athletes, for instance. Unfortunately, how we know they get paid a lot of money, whether to throw a football, kick a football, throw a baseball, or whatever it might be. But unfortunately, a lot of them within a couple of years after they leave the league, they're broke. And the reason they're broke is because they gifted the wrong way. They bought their mom a $5 million mansion, but they forgot about the $100,000 a year property taxes on that $5 million mansion. Who's going to pay that? That's a burden. That's not going to be a blessing. The blessings, you get the house, but the burden is, okay, who's going to pay the property taxes? Who's going to pay the maintenance for the house and so forth? And that's how they lose these houses. And that's how they lose their legacy because they don't prepare in advance of doing it. So at the end of the day, talk to an attorney, talk to a CPA, and do it the correct way. And both you and whoever's getting the gift of whatever it might be can only benefit, can't be hurt from the whole transaction.
And you hear these horror stories where people leave a family business, but they didn't take into consideration the capital gains on said business. And now the recipient has to sell the business because they can't afford to pay good old Uncle Sam, who's sitting at the table waiting for his fair share. So that is such an important piece of the puzzle to consider. What do you see as some of the common mistakes people make when trying to leave a legacy? They have good intentions, but they're not doing it quite right.
In this world, a lot of people fear change. They fear advice. Stubborn is another good word for it, unfortunately. And they think their best friend, Joe, who's Joe the plumber, who's been a plumber his whole life, never done anything with money and stuff like that, say, hey, this is what I did. And it worked out for Joe the plumber. It just happened to be his situation was different. And there's like, I'm going to take Joe the plumber's advice, and no disrespect to Joe or plumbing, first of all.
Sure.
And that's what he does. And that's what they do is they say, hey, my friend did this, so it's got to be right for me. Now, when you're sitting in a room, and I've done a lot of workshops. I mean, I'm an educator first, an advisor second, and a family man right in the whole top of the kit and boodle of the whole thing. And I'm sitting in a room of like 10 or 15 people. I like to keep the room small. And they asked the question, why aren't you going to tell me a solution for my issue? And I said, well, out of due respect, there's 15 souls in this room and your situation is different. He said, no, we're all in the same situation. We all want to retire. We all want to leave our loved ones money and so forth. I'm like, okay, great. Sir, how old are you? And he's like, I'm 67 years old. Okay, if anybody else in this room is 67 years old, one or two hands might pop up. Okay, sir, you married? No, my wife passed away 4 years ago. Now, how many kids do you have? He has 3. He goes, okay. Anybody else in this room, 67 years old, the wife passed away or husband passed away and have 3 kids? No hands go up. Okay, sir, where did you work and how did you do for yourself? And he would go on and he's like, okay, where are you trying to go with this? I said, because your situation where you're looking to go for the next 20 to 30 years is 100% different than everybody else's. It's like the old phrase is, don't live my life until you walk in my shoes. And once you walk in my shoes and learn how to do that, I mean, like where you've gone today and all the movies and shows and stuff like that, your expertise can tell us more information like that and surprises of what goes on behind the scenes than anybody else. That's a blessing that you have all that and you can share stories. I couldn't share a story like that. I would just be making up whatever I heard on social media and on the line. And it just wouldn't make any sense. The same thing goes with legacy planning and mistakes that you make is that if you don't do your research, You don't get a second opinion, and you don't do the things the right way because they're for you and your family. All you're doing is asking for the pins to fall down, and then you're going to fall into quicksand, and everything's going to go to a mess.
So you mentioned that you're a family man. My question for you is, what conversations are you having with your family that you wish more of your clients would have with theirs?
The what if, the what if scenarios. And people don't like to have the what if scenarios because, there's already enough negativity in this world today. We need to have more positivity day in and day out, but people are afraid to talk about the what if, and the what if is the day that you pass away. And nobody knows the answer to that question. It's probably the one question that nobody knows. You got a better chance of hitting the lottery than knowing the day that you're going to pass away. And the what ifs is having a plan in place saying, hey, what if I get hurt? Or what if I die? Or what if anything happens? What are you going to do? Where's the money? Where's the sheets? Where's the planning going to happen from? And then they're going to be in a mess. Unfortunately, I've seen more than enough clients pass away in the last 20 years. Lately, I've seen quite a few, unfortunately. A lot of them sudden, and the family and the beneficiaries are in a scramble figuring out, what am I going to do next? What do I do? How do I handle this? We're fortunate enough to have legacy planning worksheets that we hand out to our clients. It's on our website. Scenarios of make sure you take care of everything down to the cable bill. There's a phone company out there, cellular company. I'm not going to mention who they are because I could nailed by whoever. But until you cancel that service, person could pass away in February. You don't notify them until November. They're going to charge you from February to November for that phone line. Don't procrastinate. And that's what I tell my family is whatever happens to me or whatever happens going forward, don't procrastinate on what you're going to do. Have your systems in place, kind of like you're going to go on vacation and you got your airline tickets, you got your hotel, you got everything planned out. The same thing goes with the rest of your life. And if you don't plan your life out accordingly, nothing good can come out of it.
And it's hard. It's a hard conversation. People don't like to think about that what if. They don't like to think about their last day. But I can speak from experience that when my mom passed away, the biggest blessing that she left me after she was gone was there was a binder, and it had every account number, and it had, the phone carrier and the electric bill and all of the information in one place that I could just simply open it and find it, so that in the middle of my grief, I wasn't trying to also navigate, how to turn off my mother's electricity to her former apartment. So it was a huge step in helping me process that loss. Though nothing will ever replace her, it was a beautiful gift that she left behind for me to then transition into the next chapter of my life.
Makes things easier for you so you don't have to suffer dwelling on all that stuff, which is wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, we have an estate plan we created about 4 or 5 years ago that we hand out to our clients and prospects if they ask for it. When we're doing our legacy planning every February, we call it Beneficiary Awareness Month here at Clear Income Strategies Group, where we make sure every client, we contact every one of them to update their beneficiaries and say, hey, would you like the estate planning? And it's just a simple guide that shows you where your money's at. What we do is we tell them, hey, zip it up, put it in a Ziploc bag and put it underneath the freezer, underneath the ice in the freezer, or take it into a safety deposit box. And because if something happens, you don't want them to suffer any more than they're really going to suffer for your loss.
And there's a downside to not doing it. Other than the emotional aspect, there's the real financial downside of there are certain things that cannot be done after the person has passed. They have to be done prior to passing.
100%.
Correct?
Like I said, if you don't have a power of attorney and a medical power of attorney, all it is going to make that person's life harder. And nobody wants to do that to someone they care about. Someone that it's not family, well, not going to concern as much, but your family members, you don't want them to have to suffer changing everything because you passed away. And they need signatures, they need locations and stuff. I had a client passed away. This is funny and not good, but sad, but a good story.
Sure.
And they were very frugal, let's just say. And won't mention their names because I'll know who they are if they're listening. They probably are listening. He passed away about 4 years ago, and they lived life. They would never order dessert because it was like they thought they were broke.
Wow.
And then he passed away, and they brought me this big box. It was about, 14 inches high, piled of paperwork from him. And went over the box. It took me about 3 or 4 weeks settling everything. Then I went to her and said, hey, I've got everything lined up where everything's at. He had about $6.5 million.
Oh my gosh.
Lined up. And he had 47 different accounts and about $6.5 million. And she was like, and she's now 81 years old. And now she's traveling with her kids and stuff and like doing all the things she didn't do because they thought they had no money. because he had it spread out over 47 different locations, and half of them he forgot about. Those accounts were just sitting there for the last 15 years dormant, and he didn't even know they existed.
Such an impactful story, that image of here they are living as if they don't have anything, not even aware that they have $6.5 million, and what that might have meant for how he lived the last years of his life had he fully had an understanding of what he was sitting on and where it was.
And it was crazy because, I mean, I'd say at least over half those accounts were sitting dormant for over 15 years, and he probably forgot about them.
Wow.
And they just kept on, they got used to the lifestyle of just going out, ordering 2 waters, split a salad, split a burger, and stuff like that. And then boom, next thing you know it, they realized, God, this guy was wealthy. And he just totally forgot. Over the years, he just totally forgot about where everything was at because he never made notes of where his money was at. It's like
stuffing it under the mattress, and I think I'm having a good day if I find $20 in a pair of jeans, but I don't think I'd forget about placing $6 million somewhere.
No, not at all.
Okay, so I'm going to end it with circling back to Seinfeld. And if you could rewrite the ending of that Seinfeld episode with a financial savvy twist, what would Jerry have done differently?
Oh, boy, is it supposed to be comical ending or?
It doesn't have to be. If you want to share your comical chops, by all means, please do.
Well, regifting has never been a thing of there's never been positivity on that, but Jerry could easily just got Kramer involved.
Fair.
And Kramer could have got the tickets back to him within seconds because Kramer would just annoy the guy and literally until he gave him the tickets back. And they would just buy the guy a new label maker. I don't know if that's a question. You mentioned that question pre-air, and I was like, I don't know I'm not a writer. I'm not a son. That's your expertise, not my expertise.
Look, I'm giving you a chance to show your comedic chops, so I appreciate the answer and the creativity behind it.
My Rodney Dangerfield, because then you'll get really scared.
I feel like that's an episode all in and of itself for future. I'm going to take notes for that one. Well, whether it's Super Bowl tickets or a family trust, the moral of the story is this, that thoughtful planning beats last-minute labels every single time. So if you're ready to start living today and gifting with purpose, get in touch with Clear Income Strategies Group. Schedule your complimentary 20-minute Ask Anything session with Dolph. Dolph is very open about he said he'll talk to you about golf if that's what you want to talk to him about. But use that opportunity to ask anything. You can go to guardyoursavings.com to schedule that complimentary 20-minute Ask Anything session. And Dolph, I always appreciate your wisdom and your humor. So I hope that you continue to have a wonderful day, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Can't wait, folks. Thanks for listening. If you have any topics you'd like us to discuss on the air, go to info@CIS for Life. That's info@CFIS for Life. Give us your topics, and then we'll be more than happy to discuss them on the air for you.
By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Dolph Janis, North Carolina Insurance License number 8483456. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Dolph Janis is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Dolph Janis is licensed in your state, please call 704-919-0149.